Hello and welcome to Dressmaking Amore. In this sewing tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make the most luxuriously wide pants you'll have. These Faye pants have such a gorgeous silhouette thanks to the amount of fabric that flows from the gathered elastic waistband, and the optional drawstring helps with getting a perfectly adjustable waistline. And because this pant design has a large amount of design ease, you can choose whether you want to make them in two styles, extremely wide or moderately wide, designated on the pattern as A or B. In this video, we're making option A, so it has the most flow. Of course, we'll be using my Faye Pants PDF sewing pattern, so to make your own, get your pattern at the link below in the description and use this code on the screen for 50% off the pattern for the first 24 hours. Here are the materials you'll need. And please refer to your instructional booklet that comes with your pattern to choose your right size and print and assemble the pattern perfectly, as well as follow the cutting instructions. All the steps for the whole sewing process are in there. Here's a quick visual guide on how to put together your printed pattern. The letters in the top left corners indicate the rows and the numbers indicate the columns. The circles in the corners will help you match the pages and cut the pages according to the frame to assemble the pattern, and only then cut the pieces out. Here I'll be using a satin wash chiffon fabric, and it's a tiny bit see-through, so I recommend using something like lawn, rayon challis, linen, satin, or georgette fabric. Our pattern pieces are front, back, pocket, waistband, drawstring, and optionally the elastic guide. Okay, let's get to sewing. On the wrong side of our front panel pieces, apply a 2 to 2.5 centimeter wide and 20 centimeter long piece of fusible stay tape to stabilize our pocket opening. The interfacing will go 2 to 3 centimeters past the pocket opening notches like this. On the wrong side of the pant, mark the pocket opening guideline, drawing 1.2 centimeters out from the control points, and then connect the lines like this. Now we can pin the pockets to the front pant panel right sides together, matching up the marks. So, following the guideline, backstitching at both ends. Press and cut the seam allowances, leaving 2 to 3 millimeters. Want to clip both corners at an angle like this, stopping just 1 millimeter from the seam, and then flip the pocket over to the right side and press it flat. Now top stitch the pocket opening 5 millimeters from the edge. And press. If you're using a serger, you can simply join the next pocket piece at the waistline and side seams, sew and serge. However, for these pants, I'll be using French seams here. So here's how I'll do it. Place the pocket linings wrong sides together, matching them up, and pin. And sew this edge. Then trim the seam allowances by about 2 to 3 millimeters. And after pressing flat, flip it out and carefully press together the seam for a crisp edge. And sew it once more. Press it all again, and now we have a beautiful enclosed seam for our pockets. And now we're going to secure the pocket linings at the waistline and the sides by stay stitching on the right side. Because we're sewing with French seams, place the front and back wrong sides together and pin the side seam and inseam. And sew. Trim your seam allowances, then press them to one side. Now we're going to flip this all out to the wrong side, press down the edge, and pin together so that the fabric won't move around, and sew. With your finger, you're going to feel where the pocket opening is, so make a backstitch to secure it, and then keep sewing. Press, and then place one pant leg inside the other so they're wrong sides together, and pin the entire crotch seam. And sew it in the same way as we did the side seams. Now if you want to make the waistband only with elastic without using a drawstring, you can skip these next few steps. So we're going to mark the center of the waistband and then apply a strip of interfacing 2.5 centimeters by 10 centimeters to the bottom half just like this. Then transfer the buttonhole marks from your paper pattern and make your buttonholes. Cut the holes either with small scissors or a seam ripper. And then sew one short edge of the waistband to make it into a tube, and you want to leave an opening to insert the elastic, making sure that the opening is inside of the waistband while the buttonholes are on the outside of the shell fabric. Fold your waistband in half and press. Now open up the waistband, and on the half opposite the buttonholes, fold the seam allowances in towards the wrong side and press all around. Pin the waistband to the waistline, right sides together, matching the center marks and quarter marks. And now we're going to sew this together. Then press the seam allowances towards the waistband. The next step is to pin this folded edge of the waistband down to the waistline seam, slightly covering it. We'll start at the front and go all around, hiding the seam allowances of the waistband just like this. And you can baste it by hand if you're not used to working with pins. Now from the right side, edge stitch the waistband. Here's what it looks like. And now press it all around. Then you're going to take your elastic, cut it to equal your waist measurement plus seam allowances, and insert the elastic into the waistband. And before this, you can actually mark the stitching guidelines on your waistband that will keep the elastic in place ahead of time, making 1 or 2 lines. But after we insert the elastic, make sure it's not twisted, try the pants on to see if the elastic is the right length, and then sew the elastic ends together, like this. Stretch the elastic to evenly distribute the fabric onto it, and also you can secure the elastic with pins for now to keep it in place. Following your previously drawn guidelines, top stitch the waistband, stretching it as you sew. And for the second stitching line, I started at the buttonhole and then stopped at the other once I got to it. Here's what our 2 rows of stitching look like. To prepare our drawstring, fold it in half wrong sides together and press. Then fold each raw edge towards the center crease and press again. And you can use a bias forming tool if you have it in the right sides. And then finally press the folded halves together, hiding the raw edges inside, and either pin or hand baste them, doing what you prefer. Now we can top stitch the drawstring 1 to 2 millimeters from the edge. And after sewing, insert your drawstring through the buttonholes into your waistband. This string will serve as your regulator for the width of your waistline, making it as tight or loose as you want it to be. Now finish the pants with the hem. We have a 4 centimeter hem included in the pattern, but because I want the pants to be extra long, I'm just going to double fold the very edge and sew all around. And of course, giving your entire garment a finishing press like always, we are done with our gorgeous Faye pants. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new and this inspires you to sew this lovely piece yourself. I know you love it. You can get the PDF downloadable sewing pattern that I used below at the link in the description of this video, and happy sewing!